Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV. Very good evening to Faris. Delayed the stream for you again, mate. Delayed it again for you. Guys, we're here to talk about Manchester City. So much happening today, so much going on. It's been another crazy day in Manchester City Football Club. In terms of so many stories, four biggies. Definitely four biggies. I might miss something out, but for me, it's four biggies. There was the news early on in the day that Manchester City had nine players in the England Lionesses squad, 9 players out of 30. And that soon became 10 when it was announced that we had re-signed Lucy Bronze, one of the best players in the world, certainly, if not the best right back in the world, one of the best in the world. And if that wasn't enough, later on in the evening, we were told, we found out that KDB had won PFA Player of the Year, fully deserved. We also found out that David Silva was in Team of the Year, a little bit surprising. People talking about sentiment overruling, the head, so to speak. And then we also learned that Lauren Hemp won PFA Young Player of the Season. So absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Faris, what makes a player clinical? Did I answer it? I'm sure I tried to avoid answering it. What makes a player clinical? I don't know. For me, it's making more right decisions than wrong. So it's getting the right decisions, the right shots at the right time, getting a higher percentage of goals scored. So it's not just, you could say Aguero had a 20% scoring ratio from, he scored one goal in every 5 shots. And Sterling, he had 1 in every 3 at that point. But that's not how you measure how clinical someone is. But it's an overall thing for me. And maybe I'm not explaining it very well. But you've got to be hitting the target and you've got to be working the keeper. And you've got to be scoring goals. You've got to be scoring more, a higher percentage of goals from the very good chances you've got. I don't know, Faris. Right now, who would you say is clinical? Lewandowski? He's pretty clinical. He's done, he's scoring well with the shots he has. I don't think Aguero is as clinical as he used to be. You can argue 16 goals in 24 games is still very good. And it is. 16 goals in 24 games is very good. But each person's going to have a different opinion. I'm just going to do a quick tweet to let people know that we're in. I know it's a bit later than we would normally do, but obviously some people wanted to watch the football. I don't know why, but people wanted to watch the football. So basically, I'll repeat what we're going to talk about. KDB and Lauren Hemp, they won the PFA Awards at the awards night tonight. David Silva in Team of the Year, which I think you'll have to agree is a bit of a surprise. Would he be in Team of the City season? And he's ended up in the Team of the Year. Okay, fair enough. What else happened today? Lucy Bronze is back. And, for people who don't watch and follow the women's game, this is huge. This is huge. Lucy Bronze has just been away for 3 years at Lyon, won the Champions League every single season. She's probably the best right back in the world. And she's come back to little old City. She's come back to City because she wants to do it at City. She wants to take this team forward. She only signed for 2 seasons, but she wants to take this team forward in the Premier League and, more importantly, I think, in the Champions League. So, and because Lucy Bronze signed for us, we have 10 players in the Lionesses squad. That is, it's pretty amazing to have 10 people in the squad. Out of 30 players, we've got 10. Okay, and if it's rumored that we're going to get Alex Greenwood, we'll have 11. It is bonkers, guys. 11 players, and you've got to remember that Lauren Hemp has been injured. Lauren Hemp's injured at the moment, so it could have even been daft, crazy that we could have had 12 players. I mean, it sounds it sounds bonkers to have 12 out of 30, but hey, that's what City could ended up doing, and probably do again in the future, because I mean, this team is a lot of young players. They're only going to keep getting better and better and better. So it's fantastic news to have 10 players in the England squad. Can you imagine having that in the men's team? If you had that in the men's game, 10 out of 30, you'd be expecting to win almost everything, almost all the time. It's hard to take in, guys. It really is hard to comprehend. Bernardo's got an injury. Yeah, I didn't put it on my list, but Bernardo got injured after, was it 20 minutes? He's been taken off. Hi, Chris Lindley. It's going to be interesting. You have had your normal naysayers on social media having a pop at the City board. They said, look, we're selling Angelino. He wasn't first, second, or even third choice for me. They're having a pop because we're selling Angelino. Mendy, they say, is unfit. Bernardo's injured. We haven't got the centre back, and this has gone wrong, and that's gone wrong, and what Foden's been sent home, Walker's been sent off. Sorry, what's that got to do with Manchester City? I mean, they were on international duty. Foden's been sent home, and Walker. The fact that Walker's been sent off for England, does it mean he can't play for Man City? It's an absolute load of rubbish. And I was chatting with somebody tonight, and it's about the new breed of fans. And there's not wrong with young fans. But it's some of the stuff people come out with is absolutely ludicrous. I tend to find, some old fans are a little bit, doolally as well. But some of the young fans, the newer fans, the fans who have got the aggregator fans, I find some of them are absolutely pathetic. That fella from last season having a pop at David Silva just because you've got a big aggregator site and you got a lot of people following you. He wanted to make opinion rather than just put the aggregating stuff, and his opinion was trash. It really was dissing David Silva. It really was dissing him. And then the next day he said, "Oh, sorry, I had a few many to drink." I'm sorry, mate. You tried to set the agenda and it didn't work. And then other people, who are they dissing tonight? Dissing cheeky Bulgaristan because we haven't got Koulibaly, because City won't pay an extra 5 million. And you get a few people with 20,000 followers on Twitter or something, or 40,000 followers, and they're talking as if that's so disrespectful, about cheeky. It doesn't matter. You don't get everything right, but the setup at City has just won you. Apart from last season, we had 2 fantastic seasons. We won the. We got Centurions and domestic treble. In Centurion season, we won the Carabao Cup as well, and formidable season we won the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and the league. And people are still not happy. I don't know. Sam Martin, I fell asleep watching that England game. I don't even know the score. Faris Angelo's gone on loan. Yeah, he's gone on loan. They're paying a €2 million loan fee with an obligation to buy if he plays, I think, is it 12 games? It's a very funny old thing. It's 12 games, but 5 of them have to be in the second half of the season. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. On loan option it's not an option, Sam Martin. It's an obligation. I think last season they had an option to buy. This season it's an obligation if he plays 12 games, but 5 in the second half of the season. I don't understand that. I'm trying to get my head around it. Is it if they play him in 12 games, bang, 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 bang? So if they play him in 12 games in the first half of the season, there's no obligation to buy, so City can bring him back. I don't understand that. Honestly, I'm bemused. Faris, Faris has heard an amazing statement. It's very true. Wow, we got to tell us, man. Harry, hi, Harry. Faris, it was that if Sterling was in Foden or Greenwood's place, or even in Maguire's place, it would be a much different story. Oh yeah, Faris, you're right. You're 100,000,000% right. Look at the bashing Sterling got. Look at the bashing he got for doing nothing wrong, for going to like Greg's or going shopping in Primark or not washing his car. Look at the. It wasn't racial undertones. It was racist. It was prejudicial. All these reports that were coming out. I remember saying that the Sun had, was it 12 or 13 in the space of 2 or 3 years? These slurry reports. The Mail had, I think, 6. The Star had a few as well. And even the BBC were caught up, and even Sky caught lying. So it's, for what Maguire is alleged to have done, bribing policemen, being involved in a brawl. I mean, what was the worst Sterling did? Nothing. As I said, bought his mum a new house. Wow. What's wrong with that? Now. So they were making stuff up, there were nothing stories. There were absolutely nothing. And they made them out to be horrendous crimes. And I remember, I was living in France at the time. And so you only see things in the headlines. So I'd look on the BBC or wherever for headlines. And I used to go through all the newspaper, just the headline, what the headline of the day was. And the stuff that was about Sterling about is a love cheat, he's a love rat, or he's really bad to his girlfriend, or it felt like he used to beat her. Reading stuff in the papers. I remember I'm from a fan. This is when he was at Liverpool, I think, coming and moving to City. It's like, does he beat his girlfriend? What's going on? Is he a love cheat? He's got kids all over the place, and it weren't true. It was just simply made up rubbish. So look at the difference between that and Harry Maguire, and BBC and papers coming out and the journalists trying to protect him. Come on, guys. And this is the problem with the journalists. Yeah, they're hypocritical, racist, and I'll call every single one of them out that doesn't criticize their colleagues for the racist stuff they wrote about Raheem Sterling. Then they're no better than them themselves. They're no better. They might as well be racist themselves. If you're basically you're supporting those guys. You're not against them. You might say, "Oh no, I don't agree with them." Well, then say something. Say something about them. So you're absolutely right, Faris. Sterling would have been pilloried from pillar to post. They'd have found him guilty before he'd even been to court. It is pathetic. Hi, I catch up you well, buddy. Hope everybody's good tonight. Well, let's go through some stuff then. I will start backwards. We'll start with KDB. KDB, in that, besides being in the team of the season, he won the PFA Players Player of the Season of the year. Thoroughly deserved. There was no one in that competition. Absolutely nobody. I mean, there wasn't a competition. There can't be competition because KDB was simply the best, as Tina Turner would say. Simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than all the rest. Sam Martin, I thought Henderson would have a fair shout. And the reason I thought he'd have a fair shout at it, not because he deserved it, not because he was good enough for it, no. Because the media agenda had been set. The football writers had given it Henderson, and they set the tone. They set the agenda. And then you got a lot of players. Okay, it's the players voting for this. A lot of players, when they're young, they support Man United or Liverpool. So you got a lot of Liverpool fans out there that have a soft spot for him. And others, you do get some thick players. Trust me, you do get some thick players. I mean, you get some thick players who think inviting girls back to your hotel room or to your hotel when you're in quarantine, or you're in a biosecurity bubble, or whatever you want to call it. They think that's okay. So you do get some very thick players, and it's none of this. They're young kids now. They're old enough to vote, old enough to drink, old enough to get married, old enough to have kids, old enough to earn. It's not something about the money they earn. Old enough to represent the country and everything else. Okay, so I'm not having that. So the agenda was set by the media, some thick players will just go along with the agenda. Yeah, Henderson, yeah, he's all right. Liverpool won it. Oh, everybody else says he's wonderful. Oh, I'll go with that. Because some of them just take, answer it, fill it in really, really quickly. And he did well enough, Henderson, to get in the team of the year. Now, everybody's going to have various different opinions. Okay? For me, you got no Salah in midfield. Okay? I mean, if you look at the Fantasy Premier League, Salah is a midfielder. Mane's a midfielder. But for this, Mane was up front. Now, you had no Salah playing, but you had Henderson. You had no Danny Ings, who scored 22 goals. But you had Mane, who scored fewer. You had Vardy, fair enough, he scored the most goals. Aubameyang, he scored 22. Ings scored 22. I think the next person in the list was Sterling with 20. Sterling's not there. And I don't think he had a brilliant season, but when you look at that 20 goals, more than Mo Salah, who didn't make it. It's more than Sadio Mane, who didn't make it. I mean, it's fair enough. Liverpool have got 3 defenders there. Trent, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, and Virgil van Dijk. Don't think you can argue with that. Henderson in midfield, and they've got Mane up front. So having 5, I can't remember how many City had when we were Centurions. It wouldn't have been more than 5. We'd have been lucky to get 5, to be honest. I think that season Salah was up in there. So, you look at the difference. City won it even better than Liverpool won it. 19 points clear, records all over the shop. And I don't think we got 5. I'm not going to go and have a look. But I'm just putting it out there. And no need to explain why he got it. You can watch one from the match and know what he deserves. Absolutely, Harry. They don't like City. They love the Rags. That's right. Foden has some explaining to do, says Sam. Absolutely. If Foden's old enough to be a dad, then he's old enough to know better than that. Absolutely. I won't look at Foden the same way. No, absolutely, Faris. I know he's shamed himself. Some people say disgraced. You have different levels of morals, but I say he's shamed himself. He's brought shame upon his family, himself, the club, because the club had to put out a statement, and the fans, because we've had to take some flack for him. And, genuinely, some fans have said, stuff him. He's done wrong. He deserves, getting it in the neck. Other fans have stuck behind him and say he's one of the lads, he's a young lad, and, these things happen. No, they don't. Not where I come from. So, yeah, that's massively disappointing. And he'll just have to he'll have to do that growing up. And some people said maybe it'd bring him down to earth because, maybe it's all got to his head just a little bit. Sam Martin, I think we had Otamendi, Walker, KDB, Silva, and Aguero in the 17-18 team of the year. But fair enough, Sam. I mean, when you look at it, Otamendi and Walker, actually sounds quite reasonable because Otamendi played 35 out of 38 games. We were quite miserly in defence. Walker was excellent. KDB and Silva were fantastic, and Aguero scored a bundle full of goals. So, okay, maybe I'm doing them a disservice by having 5 players. But Henderson, there's a few players I would rather have had in that midfield than Henderson. But I understand why they've done it. Paris, no question. Centurions and 80-90 is much better than this Liverpool side. Yep, I agree. Weird that we haven't heard from Pepe in a long time. Is he still in Barca? I don't know, Faris, actually. I don't know where Pepe is. Don't know where Cheeky is. Don't know what's going on. I'll be honest, I've not been all over the City news in the way I'm normally over it. I'm normally looking at lots of different articles and seeing what's going down. But really busy as well, family-wise. And then when a story comes out, you've got to deal with it. So we've had the story today about the 10 England players 10 Man City players in the England squad. So I did an interview with Jude Morris King about that. Get a name right, Jude Morris King, about that very fact. Then we had the fact that Lucy Bronze has re-signed. So I've just done another interview with Audrey about her signing, and that's out already. That's out live now. And I'm just trying to find. I tried to do this Lauren Hemp video, and I think it crashed. Give me a sec, guys. You might hear some here. I'm just going to down. I'm just going to check because I've got a problem with my computer. It's decided to crash the videos after I've done the editing. And it is really frustrating because, you do all the hard work. Yeah, see, I was uploading this Lauren Hemp video, and after 49 seconds, it's crashed, which is really frustrating because you've done all the work. That's it. You've done all the work, so you just want to get the video out. So I'm going to try and see if it'll do it again. And then what will happen is by the time the video is ready to come out, it'll be too late. It's 10:30 in the UK. Who's going to watch it now? So it's just one of those things. Sometimes life can be a little bit frustrating. But anyway, let's see what you guys are saying. Sam Martin, this Liverpool team rolls over it. They got 99 points, mate. Got to be very, very careful. Got 99 points, so I'm not going to say too much about that. Andre Edwards, you can't put too many capitals. I didn't see what you said, but Nightbot has caught you. Sam says, I'm confident. It's failed again. I'm really frustrated. I'm confident for this season, but a little more worried at the same time. Look, Liverpool are not going to get massively worse. Okay? I don't think they're going to get massively worse. And Chelsea look like they're going to step up. Man United probably will step up a little bit. They have done some business. And whatever you want to say about Man United, they were improved at the end of that season. And, Arsenal are going to be a bit more solid under Mikel Arteta. So it's going to be a bit competitive again, I think. We need a bit of luck, safe advice to avoid injuries or signings hitting the ground running. Andre Edwards wants to know, why aren't we going for Lautaro Martinez? He's valued at 81 million euros. Man City is doing its business too slowly. Yeah, I agree, yes and no. We got two guys in very early. It's what we seem to be doing, getting somebody in early. So we got these two guys in early, Ferran Torres and Nathan Ake. I think he's injured as well, isn't he, Nathan Ake, tonight? So we got Nathan Ake and Ferran Torres in it very quickly. And I think Koulibaly will come. I still feel confident enough about that. That's going to happen. Lautaro Martinez, it was in my list of players to buy, was Lautaro Martinez. Now, I would put the pressure on. City should have put the pressure on. If you watch the video I did last week with Maxi Angelo, the Italian journalist, talking about different strikers. And I said, why can't City? Barcelona have not put a bid in. Barcelona are struggling for cash. They need to sell before they can buy, by the signs of things, okay? Or they're certainly not going to spend a lot of money. They're quibbling over Gini Wijnaldum or Thiago Silva, and that's small fry in terms of value, in terms of cost. 80 million euros is Lautaro Martinez. Now, Inter haven't got much money. If you listen, what Maxi said, that Inter wanted Tonali, and it was stalling. It wasn't going through. Why wasn't it going through? And then AC Milan came in and took Tonali, who was actually a Milanista. He's an AC Milan fan. And Maxi said the reason was Inter couldn't get the money together to buy the kid. So Inter they haven't got a lot of money spare. So why can't City say, right, we know you're strapped for cash. Here's 50 million euros. You never know. You never know. They might say, he's worth 80, but we need the money. We'll take it. If Barcelona can't afford it, get in their City before Barcelona sells a few players and say, now we can afford it. Can you imagine if Barcelona managed to get Coutinho off the books? How much, let's say Barcelona selling for 40 million quid, 50 million quid. Okay, let's say they can still get 50 million for him, or send him out on loan with his wages covered. That straight away makes them able to pay the wages of Lautaro Martinez. And if they get 50 million for Coutinho, 50 million euros, let's say, it's a massive drop for them, but that still helps them balance the books a little bit better, hopefully for them, and maybe it gives them the cash flow to buy Lautaro Martinez. So City should be in and get that deal done, or at least push. Sam wants Messi on a pre-contract, so not fussed about signing an attacker. You never know. Messi's already turned his back on us, so you never know. If you really want it, it might not come through. Faris, do you think the same level that Liverpool are using can keep it up? The Stafford has been performing since 17-18. It's going to get harder and harder and harder. And if you saw that report about the caffeine and other substances, it says Liverpool won't win it. Andre says, with our present side, we will not win the Premier League, even with Koulibaly added. Sam says, I'm convinced we will still get Messi. Maybe next summer, says Faris about Lautaro Martinez. I'm not so sure, Andre. I don't think it's a massive personnel issue. There's a bit of mentality issue. I said earlier today, I was talking to a Liverpool fan about, I think it was a Liverpool fan about Benassa, or it might have been some City fans. And I said, they was looking at what we still needed, and I said, I want an attacker. And people said, well, you scored 102 league goals. Why do you need an attacker? You're miles ahead of everybody else. I want a clinical finisher. I want someone who's going to put more in, and I want someone who's going to create something out of nothing. And we don't really have a lot of those players who are creating goals out of nothing. That's what Messi does. He creates something out of nothing. So that's one thing. But another area that was a concern was I said, since we lost Fernandinho from that defensive midfield role, look how we've gone backwards. And people are slating Stones, they slate Otamendi, Zinchenko, and they slated Delph. But here's the funny thing. You can slate the players all you want, okay? But the season we won the Centurions, Otamendi played 35 out of 38 league games. Stones played a big chunk of the games as well. Formidables. Stones and Otamendi, Delph and Zinchenko, they played a fair few games between them in the Centurion seasons. And in the Formidable season, they all played a decent number of games. And we won them. We won that Centurion season at a canter. And we won Formidable season. It was tough, but we still got 98 points. And that's playing a lot of games with Stones, Otamendi, Zinchenko, and Delph. So how did we get by playing these rubbish players? How did we do it? We did it because of other people in the team. We did it because of people like Company. That made a difference. And I think we did it with people like Fernandinho. Fernandinho is a different kind of defensive midfielder to Rodri. Okay. And I think Fernandinho made a huge difference. Also, the things that affected us, I think, is Aguero 2 years older, David Silva 2 years older, maybe not running as much. So these things affected us. So that's why I wanted Ismail Benassa, because I think he can play anywhere in midfield. I think he can play a box-to-box role as a defensive midfielder, or he can just play as a defensive midfielder. He can play supporting another defensive midfielder. He can play supporting an attacking midfielder. He can play a box-to-box role. He can do all sorts of roles in that midfield, and that's why I wanted him. I wanted somebody like Fernandinho, and now we may get Douglas Luiz back next summer, and he's that kind of guy. Maybe next summer, says Faris. We've got to have hope. Andre Edwards, Gabriel Jesus is not reliable nor consistent, and we cannot depend. I've said that for a very, very long time, that I don't think Gabby J is the guy to replace Aguero. Harry Mills, if we don't try buying players, we won't know. But a bid in, I agree. Put a bid in, 50 million euros. Go for it. You never know. And I did tell you that story that I remember going to a car show. It was a Volkswagen car show. I was showing off my car at the time, one of my cars, and there was it was a not kit car. Some guy had designed his own car. It was based on probably a Beetle, but he designed his own car. And it was so futuristic. It was 10 or 15 years old at the time, the design. But it was still futuristic, and it was still winning prizes at competitions, at shows. And the guy who owned it then, he said, look, a couple of years ago, I offered the guy half the money he wanted for this car. I offered him half the money. I said, if you ever want to sell it, there's the offer. And then this guy who owned the car 2 years later, or a year later, he wanted to do a new project or a new business. He needed the money. And he came back and he sold the car for half what he was asking. So if you don't ask, you don't get. Go and ask and see what happens. Guys, we're going to run out of time. Have I covered all the stories? Covered KDB, covered Lauren Hemp. Fantastic achievement for Lauren Hemp at 20 years old to win the PFA Young Player of the Season twice. This is the second time now. 20 years old, guys. 20 years old. Fantastic talent, and she's got many, many years ahead of her in the blue of Manchester City. So exciting. I've mentioned the 10 players playing for England or in the England squad. Lucy Bronze coming back. Hopefully Alex Greenwell will join. Ex-Rag, but will not hold that against her. She's another one who's been at Lyon winning the Champions League there. We are putting together one stellar side in the women's game. Stellar side. Hopefully we can get a couple more additions and get the men's team a little bit better. Just give me a second, guys. I will come back to you, Faris. There's just something I've got to do first. That's my video's crashed. Let me just upload something whilst we're chatting away. What's in store for tomorrow? I've not even looked at the Koulibaly. Koulibaly should be coming along. I really want it to happen. Get it over and done with. It's one of those things. I hate it when things take too long. I really do hate it because you've got to look at it and say, if Koulibaly does sign, let's say he signs next week, well, when's he going to play? When's he going to play for us? Is he going to play the week after? I highly doubt it. So, I want to get all our ducks in a row. I want to get ready for this start of the season. We're going to be playing against Wolves away from home. Tough game. If Aki's injured, Bernardo Silva's injured, it's not looking fantastic. So I want us to get our business done early. I've always wanted, I don't know why, and my feeling is if it is just for 5 million quid, that's pathetic if it's just for 5 million quid. I think it's worth paying the extra money just to get the guy in through the door. Last couple of questions. The team as a whole has declined, not just the defence. There were errors from Edison, Rodri, adapting to Premier League, not taking our chances. There was injuries and not taking chances. And there was inconsistency. Absolutely. Do you think Jesus is the main man? What do you think will happen to him in the future? What will his role be? Gabby J, I've said either as a second striker or I'd have him on the left. Give him a chance on the left occasionally and put Sterling on the right. Is he good enough? He's not good enough for me as our main striker. But we'll have to wait and see. It's an important season. There's lots of things that I want sorted out. I want Pep's future sorted out. I want that to be declared, how long he's extending for or if he's not. I want to know, obviously, what's happening with Messi. But I don't want to forget the other positions. I don't want to forget the striker position. I want to focus a bit on the left back at some point. I think we can get through the season. I want to see what Cancelo's like this season. But guys, if you are new to the channel, guys, as I round off tonight, please think about subscribing. It costs you nothing to subscribe. And if you can hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out, it would be fantastic, guys. My wife's making fun of me now because I say this every night. But yeah, and give us a thumbs up, guys. Let's try and get those thumbs up. We were spoiled with Kun, absolutely. Harry, absolutely. Guys, look after yourselves. Please go and watch all the videos I put out today. I put out a video on the 10 players in the England squad. I put out a video on Lucy Bronze signing, and I'm just about to put out a video on Lauren Hemp. Please, guys, please watch them all. They're not that long. Just put them on, even let them run in the background. Please, guys, give us a thumbs up and watch the videos, and we'll keep on pumping out the content for you guys.